We are not Meat and Mischief. We are the Melon Lords.
Hey there, Melonheads. I mean, nomads of lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. So today we're going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 3. We're going to do my first impressions and our collective review of Book 3, or Season 3, however you want to say it. So it's a great show. Today should be a good show, so stick around. We'll talk about a few different things, and then we'll kind of review and give you our thoughts.
So we'll do kind of like what we've been doing, kind of go episode by episode, and we may skip some bits here and there. We'll see. This is Jonathan's first time to watch this. More recently, I've watched it a few times and definitely like it. Jonathan has liked the first two seasons. If you haven't checked out our first few videos on it, you can click on the little eyeball. We'll link to that playlist, and you can check it out because we've got several videos up there. or if YouTube changes, then maybe it's down there. Who knows? Because it does
right in front of our face.
All right. Anyway, so the very beginning, we wake up and we start with Aang, and after he died at the end of the last season, and he's on a Fire Lord ship. He's on a Fire Nation ship, Fire Navy ship, and all that happens. And he has hair. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about the hair. It was different, but I guess it showed some growth.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, some time had passed, I guess.
Yes, it did show that for sure.
I don't know if that's what they were going for or what, but yeah, it was interesting. The opening first one with him kind of losing his way and feeling horrible for having lost and all the things, and going off and flying on his own, trying to, and realizing he can't do it, and washing up on the shore, all that stuff. It was a pretty downer first episode, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
It was
super
good,
heavy for Katara. This whole season is very Katara heavy. She goes through quite a bit in this season, but I love that scene with her and her dad, and she's yelling at her dad about she'd been being a jerk to him the whole time in this first episode, and she's hollering at him that Aang left, and it's, well, we're not talking about just Aang anymore, are we? And she gets to kind of unload on him all her feelings, and she explains, I know that you had to go and it was important, but we were alone, we were there with Rangran, and it's just me and Sokka, and it's pretty impactful. It definitely starts out with a bang or a whimper or something.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So the next episode we have Footloose. I mean the headband, where Aang saves the Fire Nation kids through the power of dance.
That's right.
What did you think about that?
So Aang going to the school. Wait, is this the episode where he goes to the school and everything?
Kuzan or whatever.
Yeah, Kuzan. Yeah, that's right. It was pretty fun to see him just get to be a kid again. I think. He finally kind of got to put down the Avatar hat for a second and just be a kid and interact with other kids his age, who he seems to really be, a person magnet or a kid I mean, he just seems to fit right in, kind of, even though it's Fire Nation kids, but other than, of course, the boyfriend of whatever, but anyway,
get some good old-fashioned bullying.
That's right.
In there.
No, that was a good one.
So speaking of Katara heavy season and episodes, the next episode was the Painted Lady. What did you think about the Painted Lady?
So that I actually didn't realize it was her at first.
Good.
I mean, I got tricked by it for a second, and
cool.
But then I realized as soon as the second night hit, I think when exactly what Katara wanted to get done got done, I was like, wait a second. But it definitely showed growth in her, and that she's not this young little kid that just barely found Aang anymore. She's kind of grown into a woman. and has amazing waterbending skills, and and is very caring about everyone, including these people who she, could probably. Thank you, Windows. Could probably not love, not probably hate because they're Fire Nation.
And,
yeah.
And so, their only contact with the little village at first is this insane
the shopkeeper
multi-personality disorder.
It's like, let me go get my brother. Hey, how's it going?
He's Doc. Yeah. He works at the dock.
This is a cute character, but when she came out and just like annihilated the Fire Nation after having destroyed the factory or whatever, and those guys came,
and they decide to actually help her. And he helps her out.
Yeah, man, that's a cool scene. Very cool.
So then Sokka's master, which is we get to see some actual growth. We had been slowly seeing some growth in the intellect of Sokka and his planning, his wacky planning, strategic mind. But he gets to have some growth and find a meteor.
His fighting growth is really cool. And I thought it was interesting that the master knew the entire time. I mean, you knew that he knew, but it was cool to see that he showed, hey, I know, and I'm not trying to kill you. I just want to train you because I believe everybody deserves this ability if they have it. And so, he grows tremendously through that and finds a really cool connection to a cool character. And obviously, we don't get to see much more of him, but it would be cool to see kind of some side story or maybe backstory on that.
Yeah, for sure.
On that master.
All the White Lotus old guys would be cool. The other it's the sorry, I had a thought and then got distracted by old guys or something.
Old Lotus guys.
Old Lotus guys. Lotus Notes. No. That's before both of our times. The one really cool thing about that episode is it's kind of the culmination of a really long arc that's been slow and subtle with Sokka, because when we first see him way back at the island of Kyoshi and he's all macho man and no girls can beat me and he's humbled there, and we see over and over Sokka being humbled and continuing to work, and the reason he gets to train with that master is that moment of humility. And, he asks him, what makes you think you can train with me? And Sokka says nothing.
He basically falls down on his face and says nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy at all. And the guy's like, well, then I'm going to.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
So, the next episode is the episode, people will say, oh yeah, Avatar is an anime. It's not. But the next episode is one piece of evidence that people will throw out there and say, oh yeah, it's an anime because it's got a beach episode, because I guess that's a thing with anime is having a beach episode. But I haven't watched enough anime to be able to tell you if they all have a beach episode. But the beach episode where we get Zuko and the three gals,
the 3 girls,
and the creepy old ladies,
the creepy old twin ladies. Those ladies are very creepy. That is, I don't even remember what the things they say, but they're chanting together. And there's some weirdness. They talk about the island will. Oh, what is it? The island will show your true self.
Yeah, I think something about washing away your something.
That was interesting. It was good character building just showing a different side of Zuko, especially with the super deadpan love interest that he has that is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I started off not liking her at all.
You said that.
Yeah, and I really towards the end started to like her a lot. Yeah,
she's got a nice little micro arc.
Yeah. So that was a fun little episode. I don't remember exactly what happened to the other girl, not May, but the
Ty Lee.
Ty Lee. I don't remember in that episode what happened with her.
Well, when they're sitting around on the campfire, they they're all kind of sharing their
Yeah.
feelings and whatever. And she had
Lots of
several siblings, like
something?
7 or 8. I
Uh-huh.
don't remember what number she throws out, and she's just one of a match set, and she could never distinguish
special.
anything special and whatever else.
That's right.
And May was, of course, an only child. And she got whatever she wanted, and she's, all you other sob stories, whatever. As long as she got whatever she wanted, as long as she behaved just like mom and dad, and then of course you start in that episode to get a glimpse into Azula. I mean, we've seen that several times about her sociopathic tendency. I mean, very. I mean,
Strong.
that's very much what she is.
Strong
But
sociopath.
you see in that moment maybe a tiny glimmer that maybe she did actually care what her mom says.
Yeah.
She plays it off and my mom called me a monster, but she was right, of course. But but
she did care at some point. It may not have been then.
Yeah.
But at some point in her past, she very much cared that was said.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely affected her more than she would have liked.
Over. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really liked that episode. Actually, it's kind of a different. I love the party where Azula's trying to flirt with Chad or whatever his real generic stereotypical Ivy League white boy name, or something,
Yeah.
And she's flirting, and flirting with him, and she is totally clueless about how to flirt with a guy, and she tries, and she scares him off because she's telling him we're going to be the most powerful couple in the world, and he gets scared and run away.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. And they end up tearing it. Yeah, it's a great episode.
That was a funny episode.
It's a good one. So the Avatar and the Fire Lord. What episode is that? Is that where we get the backstory on? Oh yeah. Oh, that's a cool that's cool. Not lore, but backstory episode where we get to see what happened between Sozin and Avatar Roku.
Oh yeah.
And we see both Aang and Zuko kind of find out about it together.
Mm-hmm.
As we see more parallels with them or whatever. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was super awesome. Seeing, because Roku, the whole time you've been thinking, okay, Fire Nation Avatar couldn't have been that good of a guy.
Or he was a great guy and he was duped somehow by Sozin, or just too powerful with the comment or something.
Exactly. Something was wrong. Anyway, but you actually get to see, Sozin was a good guy too in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the little bickering that happened, and then of course the same thing that happened to Aang with Aang and his friends, who immediately noticed that, you can't play with us anymore because you're the Avatar. It's kind of the same thing where when Sozin realized, holy crap, Roku's way more powerful than me, I'm done with him, kind of thing.
Well, there was that, and he was also had huge ambition, and Roku, Roku's big failing was that he failed to stop Sozin because he was his friend, and
he didn't see that he was going to continue on going.
He couldn't believe it of him, or he just couldn't do. It's kind of like Aang at the end, which throws the ending of the whole. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but it kind of throws the ending in a different light, because Roku failed the world because he wouldn't stop the Fire Lord Sozin, and now Aang is faced with the same thing at the end. He doesn't want to stop the Fire Lord. He don't want to kill him anyway. And what's going to happen with that? So moving quickly, let's see. So the Runaway was a fun episode. We can talk about it briefly. What did you think about that? Where they're scamming everybody, and Katara gets mad and get the mother thing. And then they work together. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how it ended, because they're scamming everybody for a while, and then Katara catches them, and then they keep what's her face? Toph continues to scam people.
Yes.
And then there's a big, what's the ending?
Katara's decides, okay, I'm going to prove to her that I'm not just motherly and I can do things too. And so they do it because she overhears
right. And then the third eye guy comes to the town, and
he does show up at the end. I think the most important is story building. Well, the Combustion Man, Sparky Boom Man. He, of course, him showing up, and the fact that Zuko hires him. But just as important in a small way is Katara figuring out that she can water bend by getting sweaty and stinky, becoming a sweaty, stinky genius, and creates her own water and uses it to cut out of the thing, and so those are, but it's fun episode, little bits of things. Then, building on that episode with that water thing with Katara is the Puppet Master.
Oh, yeah.
The creepiest episode in the whole show, for sure. What did you think about that
blood
episode?
bending? That was interesting. From Katara's personality this entire time that she's never going to join this lady, but it still just kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies about, what if she did?
Well, and she kind of does at the end. She hates herself for it, and she does
have to use it against her. Yeah. And she uses it again at some point, right?
We're getting there.
Yeah. But it was just, it is a very, it's morbid because the lady was a waterbender, but I guess for one of the first times you've seen some kind of crooked earth bending people at different points.
But arrogant waterbenders, but never really anybody that's bad. And for the first time, you actually see someone who's as bad as a lot of the Fire Nation is, or at least the military, the people that are wanting to take over. And so it was creepy and sad and very hard episode, but very interesting. Oh yeah,
I love the way they do the metal bending, with the earth and the blood with the water and all the different
those little natural progressions of the magic system stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is
for sure. So Nightmares and Daydreams is one of my least favorite episodes. Although on a rewatch recently, I realized it's really just the first two dreams, their daydreams or whatever, that I really hate. In the where he's not wearing any pants and he comes with his math test. I mean, it's just stupid, childish dumbness. Yeah. I discovered that the rest of the episode isn't so bad. What did you think about that?
I agree with you. I didn't. It was okay. It just seemed very repetitive, and it's like, okay, come on, you've had how long to decide? Okay, I've got to do this, or I've got to face this. I don't know. It just seemed like it was kind of a.
It was very childishly shot, which we had gotten further and further and further away from that.
Exactly. That's what I felt like it was, kind of how they do 3 steps forward and 1 step back. I felt it was like 2 steps back for him and for Aang. And I didn't like it.
Although on a rewatch, on my most recent rewatch, I forgot that the part where Appa and Momo fight in this, that's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
But anyway, so after that little Chinchi episode, we get 2-part Day of Black Sun, part 1 and part 2, where it's the eclipse. They got this Sokka's big invasion plan, as Katara points out. It's not, it's Sokka's plan, and this big, and they bring all their friends and frenemies from everywhere, all across their journeys, and they're gonna go take down the Fire Lord.
Yeah, there was some really cool use of the submarine stuff they did.
Oh yeah. With Sokka's beautiful drawing. You had to refine your initial sketch a little.
It definitely showed. I enjoyed that episode for Sokka specifically because it showed his ability to. I mean, we already knew he was kind of going to be a leader. He's shown this kind of leadership / plan building in the past. And so it showed that, okay, he's not just doing this to say he's doing it, or he's not just, kind of half doing it. He really does care about all these people. He wants this to succeed. He's going to do it. And even with his dad, injured or whatever, he kind of is just like, all right, Katara, you take care of that, and I'm going to go continue on.
He does step up.
Yeah, he steps up in a big way. And so it was good. It was a good episode, the first one. And then I can't remember exactly what happens between. I don't remember where the break is between the first and the second one. Because
I don't remember where the break is either. Let's see. The names are Invasion and Eclipse. So the first one was just build up to getting
when
to
have the eclipse, and then I guess that's
it's when Aang comes back and says,
hey, they're not there.
Yep.
And comes back and tells them, and then they're like, well, crud, they've got to be here somewhere. Yep. So I think Toph does a little like figuring out where they're at kind of thing, like feeling the earth and there's tunnels, let's go. So they go, and it's they got the really funny part of the episode where they run into a Fire Nation guy, and he's like, please don't kill me. Like, they're that way. I swear they're that way, you know. And then he goes walking along. Walks all pious after that. It's pretty funny.
It is funny.
And then of course they find Azula, like you knew was going to happen.
Right.
And Firelord's nowhere to be seen. So
and she leads them on a merry chase.
Yeah. There's a fun little not really fight scene, but chase scene. There.
Right. She's just trying to bide the time. You know,
mm-hmm.
try it until the eclipse is over.
Yep.
Which Sokka eventually figures out. And he tells them, and then she throws the fact that Suki is in prison and goads him, and it works because she's a conniving genius, and he is mad and
and then the eclipse ends, and then they have to get out of there.
Well, but there's another super important part too, which is Zuko's part. We see Zuko go, and he goes and he finally confronts his father.
Yeah,
you know, the culmination of his arc. You know, we've seen him try to be good and, you know, turn and free Appa, and goes through all that metamorphosis, and then he turns and he goes back again, and he's had all this. His arc never quite goes the way we expect or he expects, and has this beautiful scene with his father where he goes and confronts him during the eclipse, and there's no firebending, and he tells him, you know, you haven't been a father to me, Uncle has, and you've never been the father to me that you should have been, and I'm going to go and beg Uncle to take me back. And then the fire bending is back on, as Azula says, and Zuko redirects lightning, and he escapes, which is super, super chill-giving scene, and you know, it's just super cool. Yeah. And he discovers that his uncle has, of course, escaped because he's very powerful, and he's Iroh, and he escaped like a maniac. I don't remember what the descriptor is, but yeah, all that happens. Then the Western Air Temple, they escape to the coolest air temple not floating, but upside down air temple.
Yeah, that was a really interesting episode. I think the main part of the episode is the fact that Zuko's trying to get in there, good graces, failing miserably, and then burns Toph's feet, and
she, because of who she is, tells everybody no, it wasn't his fault, and I mean, she is extremely forgiving, and you know, Katara, of course, is not. No, even a little bit, because she trusted him. Yeah,
exactly. Because she trusted him when she needed him most, and he wasn't there because he still wasn't quite. He still hadn't quite given in to what he was destined to be.
He chose poorly.
Yeah, I know that was a really good episode. Kind of
Zuko here.
Yeah,
talking to the frog.
When he's practicing before he goes in there.
I saw somebody else's video pointing out it, and I just didn't think about it, but he's going through this whole practicing Zuko here, you know, whatever he's saying. Oh, this is so stupid. And then when he actually goes to meet them, he says, Zuko here. Of course,
I know you probably hate me, but
that's
and then of course he has to fight the Boom Boom Man.
That wins them over enough. Yeah, because Sparky Boom Man, Combustion Man shows back up with his,
and he can't stop him. It's pretty funny because he's like, "I'll pay you double to stop," and he's just ignoring him, trying to kill him.
Because he's got to do his honor, probably, maybe, and then Sokka finishes him off with the boomerang to the forehead, which is quite fun. So then the firebending master. So Zuko can't firebend anymore. He's lost his stuff.
And he was using hate.
Yes, exactly. And so he can't firebend anymore, more than just a little bit. And he's getting real frustrated, even though Aang's like, "Hey, good job."
Well, and Aang needs a teacher at this point. So on top of the fact that they need Zuko to fight.
Yeah, all
Aang
the things.
Needs to be able,
Yeah. And so Toph is like, well, who were the first firebending teachers? I learned from the badger moles, and the waterbenders learned from the moon and ocean, whatever. And, and Zuko's like, well, it's the dragons, but they've been dead.
They don't exist anymore.
So they go to the Sun Warrior ruins, and all that goes down.
And then they find the dragons, and the dragons come out.
The Sun Warriors were still alive.
Oh, that's a really cool scene.
Yeah.
And Aang's like, just dance with me, basically. Do the moves.
Yeah.
And they do the moves, and then it's a really cool scene.
Trap. And, yeah.
Super cool scene. Super.
We talked about that. I don't remember what I said before Jonathan even watched this. I love that scene with the dragon and them seeing fire in a new way, and it being beautiful and part of life, and not just destruction. And that idea, I think, is really a cool idea. That I think about that a lot with people. People aren't necessarily always just trying to be bad, or choosing to be bad. Sometimes there's always more to what things, and there's something that can be a great strength can also be a great weakness, and there's a lot wrapped up in there. It's a beautiful little shot, and it's cool. So then the Boiling Rock, there's another two-part episode where they go to save Sokka and Katara's dad, is what they originally set out to do. And they get there to this crazy prison that's in a caldera of a volcano with boiling water surrounding it, basically inescapable. And Zuko this is Zuko and Sokka. They go and are going to go rescue his dad, and his dad's not there, and now they're stuck. And they discover Suki's there. Yay, good.
Yeah. So okay, let's get her out.
Yeah.
Then they come up with a plan to escape, and their plan to escape was to get inside a metal box inside the boiling water,
which might have worked since it was if it wasn't for the big, crazy burly guy, firebending guy, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then they decide to go back because they don't go with him, which is good. He gets caught.
They're afraid. Yeah,
they decide to stay, and sure enough, Sokka's dad comes, and then they make the plan to escape in the next episode. And
Zuko gets found out and kept because May shows up, or not because May shows. She doesn't show up, or I don't remember when she shows up.
Second episode,
but her uncle is the warden of the place. And it was a very strange voice-shaped person, but
But it's a pretty cool scene at the end of that whenever she actually saves them. And she and
Ty
Lee save them.
Which was rather astonishing. You don't see May, you almost sort of see her, because you kind of discover with May that she's not loyal to a cause. She's not loyal to the Fire Nation. She's not hardly even loyal to her family. But she is loyal to certain specific people, and for a while that was Azula. But and then she has her line. What she gives to Azula, she tells her that you underestimated that my love or my fear of you was stronger than my love for Zuko. And so she stops, and then that you kind of start to see coming, but then Ty Lee, her betrayal is just whoa. And if it wasn't for hers, then they would have been toast.
Yeah, and I really think that was I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely seemed to be one of okay, I had all these siblings. I was never different. Finally, I was different. I've been brought into this kind of family unit ish with Azula and May. And she really cares for May, and Azula has no care for really either one of them. She just uses them. Yes. And so the tie between her and May, I think, when she realizes, okay, she's about to hurt May, which means she probably would hurt me too, or would hurt. I think they both knew she would.
Right.
And so it was kind of like let me save her and myself and get us both out of this kind of thing. And it was
which, of course, was that whole thing was the beginning of the end for Azula, because that basically broke her psyche, essentially. And
because
portrayed.
Even though she didn't seem to care, I think she did a little bit care.
Yes.
Because they were her friends, even though she was using them.
She didn't know how to friend, but
yeah.
that was as close as she had
exactly.
had. Yeah.
And when they betrayed her, it was like, okay, I have nothing. Nobody has ever stood by me. My mother, starting with my mother, and then my father, all he's done is what I do to everyone else.
Right.
By using them. And yeah, that's kind of the breaking point for her, pretty much.
Yeah. So then, probably the heaviest episode, I think, of the entire show is the next episode. That's the Southern Raiders. And so it starts out with Katara obviously still basically hating Zuko and not trusting him. And it's got the really funny scene where Zuko's like, okay, enough is enough. I got to figure this out. It's kind of the stereotypical dude thing, I've got to fix it, and, and so he's going to go talk to Sokka, and he goes to, and he runs into I keep saying Suki, and she's going to go to Sokka's tent or whatever. And it's, oh, did you need to talk to Nope, I'm fine. I'm good. And so Zuko goes in there and he sees Sokka's like got a rose in his mouth and
whatever else. And, that was a funny scene.
But he finds out, he basically figures out who killed their mother.
Yeah.
Or captured her or whatever. We don't really know for sure in the show what happened for sure, but they figured out who it is, and he tells her, and so Katara decides she's gonna get revenge, and she goes very, very dark, and that just she's gonna and Aang is says, oh yeah, it's. You shouldn't do that because revenge is never the answer. And she's like, you just don't understand and whatever. And then she is going to steal Appa and Aang is like, oh yeah, I forgive you. You see how that felt? And which of course,
shut up.
Yeah, basically. And so they go to hunt down, and you were talking about the bloodbending, of course, it comes pivotal in this show. Her and Zuko, they go onto this Fire Navy ship, the Southern Raiders and they go, and she, not only do they fight him, but she bloodbends this guy, which is pretty serious, very dark thing. And even Zuko, he doesn't stop her. He supports her, to do, which really is a regression for him, because it's a step back into this more dark, revenge person for him. And so he's helping her be the bad guy. But even in that moment, when she bloodbends him, he raises his eyebrows like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? And of course, it's not him. And then they go and they actually find the guy. What did you think about that?
Yeah, that bit. It was hard because she finally finds him, and he doesn't even really remember.
He's pretty pathetic.
He's very pathetic. Yeah, he's kind of just this little old man that I think he has a wife, right? And
it's his mother.
Oh, it's his mother. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's super funny. I mean, not super funny, but super sad that he's where he's at. And I think that kind of shows to her that, okay, I don't need to do this to him. He kind of got what was coming to him because of how he lived his life. And it was good. Yeah, I agree with you. It was kind of a regression for him, but it almost seemed like he was just trying to I think Zuko was trying to support her no matter what, because he had been left by everyone, and he's trying so hard to get into this group.
Right. Oh yeah, that's people. Definitely.
And I don't necessarily think it was a thought of, oh, let me go back to the dark side kind of thing.
No,
I think it was just
it was more him, but his fixing was him going back to his default.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she ends up doing the right thing and not doing anything. But yeah, it was definitely a hard episode for her. but it was good.
Yeah, it was very,
It
very adult.
Ended up being really good and showing how much she's grown and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the next episode is my what I think is the funniest episode of the show. I'm curious. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I'm curious to know what you think about it because I don't know if it'll hit your humor spots the same way. But the Ember Island players, where they're staying at the Fire Lord's house, basically on Ember Island, and they discover that there's a play by the Ember Island players, and Zuko's like, oh, they're terrible, whatever. But they go, and it's a play about them.
Yeah.
So what did you think about that episode?
So at first I was really annoyed because I was like, oh gosh, this is just a filler episode, which it is. But
it was kind of a recap too. But yes,
yeah,
yes, it's like a clip show without.
Yeah. But what was funny is when it finally started to really get into the play, and it started hitting the nail on the head with every single character, and everybody else is laughing, and that one person is like, that is not how I am at all.
I don't cry all the time.
Yeah. But it's like exactly it's priceless. It really, it's like the extreme of each character.
Right.
It's perfect. It's funny once you get past the fact, okay, it's a filler episode,
right.
whatever. But
right.
It is a very funny filler episode, and it's more character bending, kind of gets the group together and gives them a little bit more closeness before.
Well, it gives you that moment of Aang thinking that Zuko and Katara are in love, and
and I think that's kind of important. Even though I knew looking at him like, no, Zuko's in love with May, so this is not even a thing. Like, yeah, they might kind of get along together or whatever, but it's not. Yeah, I wasn't afraid for it, but it definitely did give you a little like, oh wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Well, it gave him Katara a wait, what for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave Aang
yeah.
He was upset about it.
He loves Katara.
Yeah. So then is the 4-part finale. Mm-hmm. So in the Phoenix King we see Azula's downfall, where she starts banishing everybody and their dog. And she tells her, I don't know if these old ladies are related. I don't even know who they are. I need to do some research to figure out I'm trying to think of what their names are, because there's the where she's hollering at him and telling him, okay, want you to fight an Agni Kai, and I can't think of their names. It's escaping me. But so Sally, you go fight Betty, and then she leaves, and she's like, but I'm Betty. Yeah. So who's banished?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a funny
whatever
scene.
else. But yeah, she's devolving, and she's hallucinating her mother,
falling apart. Her hair's all crazy, and she's like forcing the fact that she needs to be named Fire Lord, even though the day is not going very well.
Yeah. She's going nutso. I don't remember what else. Oh, we get I think in that episode we get the we do. We get the training montage where Toph is the Melon Lord.
Yes,
which is hilarious. It's very, very Toph, and that's cool. But Aang can't kill the fire. He can't even kill the dummy of the Fire Lord. And so then we get to the Old Masters episode, where he kind of has a dream-ish thing, and then he goes and he flies onto this island. And then what do you think about the island he was on and all that stuff?
I don't remember it. Keep
the
going.
lion turtle stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was an interesting. It made me. I can't remember what religion it is that has the idea that the turtle carries the whole world, kind of thing.
I don't know if there a real religion, or is that just from Discworld?
I don't know, because I know even World of Warcraft.
There's an elephant thing as Hindu something or other.
Yeah, World of Warcraft uses that same thing in one of their releases. Really? Yeah, with a big giant turtle carrying part of basically land, not necessarily a whole globe,
okay.
But yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was super interesting, and I didn't quite get from what was being said what he taught Aang to do.
Yeah,
when
he doesn't even explain until he uses it at the very end. Yes.
I went back and watched it a couple times because I was trying to see, okay, so what exactly did he just do? I'm assuming he imparted some knowledge to him, because he like touches him in blue light and all this craziness.
Yeah.
But So it was a very interesting episode. Him waking up and being on a moving island, and nobody knew why, and everybody's
he kind of confronts
he doesn't exist anymore.
Past avatars, and basically trying to find somebody that'll tell him he doesn't have to kill him, and an idea or whatever.
And everybody's like, "No, you got to do you."
Even the Airbender,
you got to stop him.
Says, your morals are your qualms
morals
are good,
secondary. You're secondary.
This is for the whole world. This is
exactly.
You gotta.
And that should have it almost is like it should have been a no duh to him, because it's either he fights him or all these people die and suffer. And
very utilitarian.
But I guess he's mindset. Been so ingrained with the monk attitude.
Well, he's still a child too.
People. Yeah. And that's one thing. Well, we won't get into that. I was about to start talking about the movie, but
we need to do another video on that. We need to do of how terrible the movie is. But
we'll do that.
So then everybody else is like, well, Aang's gone. I guess we're gonna have to go fight. He'll show up. And I can't remember. I think Zuko is very confident he'll be there. We'll be fine. I can't remember. It may not be Zuko, but they decide, okay, we're gonna go fight. We're gonna go kill these people, and all the ending happens, and the stuff with the blimp happens, and you
almost think Suki's dead. You almost think that for a little bit. That was super sad. I was like, no. But she ends up being fine, and then
somebody. Oh, they meet back. Oh yeah. Of course, they meet back. They go to Ba Sing Se, and they meet. They use the girl with the anteater thing, animal thing that goes, and they find Uncle Iroh, because since Aang is gone, Zuko's like, well, Iroh's the only one I know that could actually take on the Fire Lord. And so they go and they find the old people camp, and as Boomy says, and get the moment where Zuko actually is reunited with Uncle Iroh,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's one of the probably the biggest arc that you've been waiting for this whole time, because Iroh, and especially it's cool to go back, because I've watched a couple of the first episodes again.
Nice.
Just watching, but it's cool to go back and actually see that Iroh was never dark. Even though he's with Zuko the whole time, because of the way they play it, because of how bad Zuko is at the beginning, you think, oh, okay, Iroh's bad as well because of proximity, because of letting him do it, whatever. But every little thing that he says is always trying to move Zuko in the right direction. And,
patient, kind.
Yeah. And so he's been praying for this, or whatever you want to say, for forever. And finally it happens, and it's a really cool scene. It's a really cool coming together and crying, and
it's kind of that almost that prodigal son. Almost returns. Where especially where he goes, and Zuko's. It's almost that exact feel of like the product. I'm sure it was inspired by some of the ideas. It's very like that, where Zuko goes to him and he says he doesn't say it, but he basically is coming to him saying, like in the prodigal son, where I'll be your servant. I've messed up. I've done wrong, and without even thinking, Iroh rushes to him and grabs him and pulls him in and hugs him, and Zuko says, how could you do this? You must have been so furious with me. And Iroh says, I was never angry, only sad. And it's just powerful scene. It is. It's pretty amazing. Pretty cool.
It is good. And then you go back forward to the blimp scenes. The funny part where Toph, I cannot remember what she says. She says something about somebody tells her to drive the. I think.
The blimp.
Yeah, I think Sokka tells her to drive the blimp or something, and she's like, "Blind girl here,
right?
What are you talking about?"
Right.
Yeah, that was really funny. But anyway,
that's a cool subtle growth scene with Sokka too, actually, because we saw earlier in season 2 him just fawning over is the wrong word, but being super overprotective of Suki and not wanting her to get in any danger at all. And because, his girlfriend died, became the moon, whatever. He, instead of going off and trying to save Suki, even though they were afraid to die, he never lets go of Toph's hand, just about, because she's blind and probably terrified, can't hardly see anything.
And they're up in the air, a million miles above the ground.
And he is, and it's not overt. It's, it's very subtle, beautiful writing by the people who did it. He's taking care of her and protecting her and her, even though they basically have to let Suki go and is afraid she's gonna die or dead. She's not, of course. She comes back because she's a kick butt person.
That's right. She can take care of herself. That was the whole point.
Yes.
And she was able to. And then of course you get the grand fight of the Avatar. Oh well, I guess before that we get the grand fight of.
Well, both. They kind of get cut back and forth
Zuko
between
and Azula. And then the Avatar.
Katara goes to back him up.
Yep. And then the Avatar and the Fire Lord. And both of those fight scenes are phenomenal. Particularly Zuko and Azula is awesome. Seeing them kind of at the peak of the comet coming in, and then finally Aang is able to go into full Avatar mode and completely destroy.
Rock hits his back or something. Little Deus Ex Machina a little bit, but
kind of reminds him, or I guess it opens that chakra back up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Whatever. Yeah. But it was a super cool scene, and then to finally realize what the turtle had been teaching him, which was to be able to remove the ability to bend.
And energy bending.
And he pulled bending out of the Fire Lord. So the Fire Lord is literally a normal guy. And they don't kill him. He's just going to live out his life being a normal guy who betrayed his son and his daughter and his wife and his uncle or his brother and all the things. It's very interesting. Very, very satisfying ending.
Absolutely.
I liked it a lot.
So that's pretty much our thoughts on season 3, book 3. We'll do like we've done on the other ones. We'll do our favorite fight scenes. We didn't talk a super long time about some of the later fight scenes, partially because of that. Spoiler, spoiler for our video. So if you like this video, give it a like, thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and drop a dislike. It's fine. It lets us know what's going on.
That's right.
Make sure you comment below. Let us know what some of your favorite moments from Avatar season 3 were, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Later.